I miss Titanfall 2. Like, I really miss Titanfall 2. And I'm disappointed I didn't play as much of it online when it was first released, which was mostly down to a few things like some technical issues I had with audio cutting out, and a frighteningly low player count in Oceania, which is where I was playing it at the time. But it wasn't just me. Titanfall 2 suffered from a severe lack of players throughout its life, which could easily be attributed to a few things. Firstly, EA decided to release it around the same time as both Battlefield 1 and Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, two massively established series that would prove to take away a lot of its spotlight and made its release window more cluttered than a 15-year-old bedroom. The decision to release Titanfall 2 1 week after Battlefield 1, another EA published first-person shooter by the way, and 1 month before the new Call of Duty, sealed its fate before it had even launched. And the sad thing is that, in my opinion, Titanfall 2 is the best multiplayer shooter release in the past 5 years. Insanely enjoyable and rewarding multiplayer, an excellent single-player campaign, and consumer-friendly monetization options cemented it in my mind as one of the best games the genre had to offer, and one that didn't get nearly as many players as it deserved. While it received no shortage of positive reviews and coverage on release, the game was overshadowed by its peers and was ultimately left in the rearview mirror by most of the gaming community. However, with Respawn Entertainment's recent release of the insanely successful Apex Legends, Titanfall 2 has enjoyed somewhat of a small renaissance, and you can find a match without too much trouble. So, I decided to take this opportunity, and combined with the fact that I'm currently enjoying the abundance of players in North America, I've recently been spending a lot of time in Titanfall 2. And suddenly, the game I missed so much is back on my doorstep. And while this revival probably won't last long, here's what I'm going to be yearning for once it's all inevitably taken away from me. If you've never had the chance to play Titanfall 2, here's a quick overview. It's a fast-paced online shooter where you control a jetpack-equipped soldier that can zip around the battlefield with ease. There's double jumping, wall running, grappling hooks, you get the idea. The movement all seamlessly works together and you can build momentum by chaining moves one after another, such as wall running directly into a slide and then into a jump. There's a ton of weapons, equipment and abilities to choose from, and this allows for the creation of pilot classes that can be specifically tailored to a preferred playstyle. But that's just one half of the game. The other is in the name, Titanfall. In a match, you can call in a hulking mech suit to pilot, of which there are 6 to choose from. You can customize each Titan to how you like, both mechanically and visually. Piloting a Titan is satisfying, empowering, and exhilarating. It makes for awesome moments, and somehow Respawn perfectly balanced the game around both them and the pilots being able to coexist in one match. But the reason Titanfall 2 is so great isn't just because of its excellent combat and mechanics. It's because every part of it is made with such great intent. Things both big and small have been added and removed from the standard online shooter formula that makes the entire experience feel all that more enjoyable and satisfying. Take the end of a match for example. In nearly every other game, the round ends and you're done, back to the menu screen. But here, the round ends and instead of the game just immediately finishing, the losing team is tasked with extracting their rescue craft inside a limited time window while the other team tries to hunt them down and destroy it. A successful extraction can make a loss not feel nearly as bad, as it adds a nice silver lining to what may have been a bad game. Or look at the game's leveling system. Some games only require gaining levels to unlock new guns and gear, while some let you choose what you want to unlock with in-game currency. Titanfall 2 has the best of both worlds. Things unlock as you level up, but you can purchase anything you want, whether that's something you're 3 levels away from, or 30, with in-game merit points you earn after each match, and you get more of these points for completing certain tasks or putting in a good performance. I could spend literally hours talking about the little things I love here, like how leveling weapons and Titans is just so goddamn satisfying. Or how scoring an execution on an enemy Titan just makes you look and feel so incredibly badass. But I think you get the idea. Everything in Titanfall 2 is made with such intent and purpose, all of its elements are made to be fun, and even after playing just a few rounds it leaves me with far greater of a feeling of satisfaction than most other online shooters I've played. And trust me, you'll never get bored of calling in your Titan.
Stand by for Titanfall.
Man, that really never gets old. Out of the bevy of online first-person shooter games released in the past few years, I can count the ones I've truly loved on one hand. I don't know whether it's just my taste changing, maybe others feel the same, but an online FPS really needs to do something special to get my attention nowadays. A quote-unquote normal shooter just won't cut it anymore. Games like Battlefield 1 and 5 and the last few CODs may have had some interesting location and time choices, but at their core they just don't feel different or unique enough to hold my interest for more than a few hours. And don't get me wrong, I'm not calling these bad. Well, not all of them anyway. They're just kind of boring? I mean, I've played twice as many hours in Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 than I have from the past 6 COD games combined, which should probably give you an idea of what I'm talking about. And it's not like I feel burnt out on the genre either. I would happily spend less time playing Hearthstone and more on an online FPS if it was exciting and enjoyable enough. Finding one that can achieve those lofty goals is difficult. And like I said, there's only a few recent ones that have really done it. One of them is Escape from Tarkov, where excellent shooting mechanics are paired with challenging gameplay, high stakes, and an addictive loot grind. No match is ever the same, and its very specific combination of unique elements make for an incredibly rewarding and often incredibly difficult experience. The feeling you get when you finish a game after killing another player and taking all their high-end loot is one of the greatest highs in any game I've ever played, and having it happen to you is equally soul-crushing. But you always want to go back and try again even just a few hours later, and that's why I love it so much. To be honest, and I'm sure all of you who have played EFT can attest to this, Escape from Tarkov has ruined most shooters for me, because it makes so much of an effort in creating a unique experience that you just can't get anywhere else. And I feel the same way about Titanfall 2. It's a shooter that tries to be different, but in ways that actually benefit the player experience, not just for the sake of it. Its perfect balance between pilot and Titan gameplay is effectively a modern day miracle, and I haven't been able to find a title that replicates that style into that same level of quality again. Like Tarkov, each game can be different, and you'll struggle to not have more than a few highlight-worthy moments each time you play a match. And while it doesn't have the same highs and lows to the degree that Tarkov does, it's certainly comparable. While you can of course have great performances and not so great ones in any online FPS, Titanfalls just feel more impactful. Yes, getting dunked on by a high level and well performing Titan over and over again does feel bad, but when you're that Titan, demolishing everything in your path and proving to be an unstoppable force for your team, it's some of the most empowering gameplay you'll experience in any competitive shooter. For those of you who are still open to the idea of putting a lot of time into an online shooter, and I get that a lot of you out there may not be, you know it's hard to find one that has that X factor. One that both clicks with you on a personal level and has the mass appeal broad enough to encourage a healthy player base and long lifespan. I truly believe Titanfall 2 could have been that game, the Modern Warfare 2 of 2016 if you will. But some things just weren't meant to be, and due to EA's short-sightedness, or maybe just overconfidence in that it could still sell well in its busy release window, Titanfall 2 didn't end up taking that spot. And while I do love Escape from Tarkov, I think it's far too much of a niche title to quite get to that level either. Maybe Apex's success will lead to a Titanfall 3 down the line, and it will prove to be a new addition to my very short list of FPSs that I've truly loved in recent memory. Or maybe it won't. Either way, I'm going to make the most of the time it has right now and go enjoy me some Titanfall 2. And you should do as well. It's pretty cheap at around $20 on Origin, and maybe if enough people do it, it'll give the game some legs for the future. Keep the dream alive, everyone. Keep the dream alive. Thanks for watching. There's going to be a link to the game below if you want to pick it up, and under that you'll find my Twitter where you can follow me for updates and news on future videos, and my Twitch channel's down there as well. I'd love to see you come hang out. Thanks again, we'll see you all next time.